All right, here's our live session for the night. We're going to go over where the market's at. As you guys know, futures is down again. A lot of things have been selling off over the last few weeks, especially growth stocks with fear of the market of inflation. So really good to see all of you guys. I see Dominican, Sin Hombre. I see all you guys in here. Moreno, I see you over there, man. So Ash,
Joe, he even had to email me
yeah, Ed
about
Love,
us.
Dustin, DJ. Really good to see all of you
And
guys.
welcome in Cheney. He's a little newer to the group, but he's gonna be great. I think he was just in there, but
Okay,
yeah.
so the first one I was looking at right here, guys, was Clean Spark. So you guys all know that this thing has. We can jump over to Tip Ranks and you can see the price target that this has on it. This thing is north of $40. The highest price target of 50, 45. I know this was 2 and 3 months ago. This is essentially when Bitcoin was really going up, and they were finding a very sustainable way to mine Bitcoin. But if you guys didn't hear the news today, they did announce that they're going to mine not 4 Bitcoins per day, but 10 starting as of right now. So for this thing to be near, you know, uh, the lowest it's been since that May 13th big growth sell off that we had on the same inflation fear. Now, here's what I see in the long term trend on that, right? We had our huge run from under $2. This is where I originally bought it at. I didn't hold it all the way to 42, but we did hold it for a while. This thing's been downtrending with intermittent spikes on the way. This was a long period of consolidation. But if you look at it now, this is way more consolidated than the Chop Fest over here. So, I have a lot more confidence in a full reversal soon to come at one of these levels. Now, that's not to say that this long-term support level holds. It is possible that it could lose it and come down to one of these lower levels, but I personally don't believe it will lose that support level. I think $13 is as low as this thing is getting, and I think that the next big dip we see in this thing, say market opens tomorrow and we can catch this near 1334 as it went to today, I want to get in on it. So my major plan on this, as you guys all know, so here's the plan. This is at $13 right now, our first major resistance level. As you can see that we just got rejected at is near the $20 to $23 range. So if we can swing trade this for essentially a 40% gain, then we can start selling calls on this. And these calls go for quite a bit because you can look at this July 16th alone, right? This is tomorrow, and the implied volatility is from 185 to 270 for the put side. For the call side, it still has high IV over 200, 300%. If we go out to, let's say, September, and a $15 call is going for $200 a piece because the IV is over 109%. Catch one with some decent open interest on it. $30 calls are even going for $20 to $35. So if this swings back to 20 and we're selling 22.5s and this has pullback on it, these options are going to be worth a lot. So we can look at the history right now and I'll show you guys how much these were actually worth on that last spike near $20. So let's look at the chart history on it right here. Right here, it's at $85 an option. And this was on, let's see, 218. We ain't going to use that. We'll go on that May 13th range where it dipped last time, the one prior to it. So these were close to $700 per option. Now, you do have to factor that time decay and that theta in there. But on that last spike, this went from 387 to 718 per option. So this is the September call. So this still does have time on it. Now, we can look at this date and see that it is 4/28. Let's go back over to the actual chart on it, and we can look and see when 4/28 was. And that was right here. Okay, so this is that spike that I was just showing you, and this is right at the $23 range. So when CleanSpark was $23, the September contracts were worth $750 a piece. They are currently $75 a piece, okay, at this low. So the plan is going to be to swing trade this, okay, trim some of our profit at this resistance, and then sell calls against our equity. And then I think eventually, long term, this does break and move past 20 and higher. I just can't guarantee you when that's going to be. So, we're going to hedge our position accordingly and make money on it through the chop. But I think 13 is the bottom, especially since they literally just doubled their hash rate today. So CleanSpark's going to be on really high watch. If you look over in my watch list right now, let me jump up to it real quick. All right, so CleanSpark just posted a few articles on it. 95% carbon-free Bitcoin mining. Also, $47 price target on it, showing you guys we're at long-term consolidation and long-term support. Then, in addition to all that, they do have an article out. I don't know if they made the article. It'll probably drop tomorrow. But the hash rate from the video I seen today went from 4 Bitcoins per day to 10 per day. So if Bitcoin has a rally, especially, this company is literally going to be making a lot of money. So as you can see with the Bitcoin chart, let's go to the daily chart on it, right? You can go to CleanSpark chart. Pretty similar, right? You guys see the comparison here. CleanSpark, essentially, now that they're in the mining space, is going to follow Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's also getting to levels to where it can rally back towards 41,000. I think if Bitcoin rallies to 41,000, then CleanSpark is going to rally to $21. So I'm also going to be looking for a longer term option, let's say September 17th, potentially August 20th, $20 calls. That might be a little too early on it. This would be more of a YOLO call right there, but I am definitely going to be looking to get into some equity on that. Looking into the other plays on it, I posted 2 FDA catalysts earlier. The first one is LGVN. Their FDA date is right around the corner. The lowest it's been, period, was $5.14. We've been downtrending. I'm going to try and get a starter in right around this range. If it does come to its all-time low, then I'll average in at all-time low. And you really don't want to just questionably dip by like that typically. Typically, you want to catch and watch for strength before you buy into strength. But sometimes with FDA news, these things literally just go parabolic off the news. So, this isn't necessarily a technical setup until you see the strength. But typically 1 or 2 weeks going into the catalyst of the approval or non-approval, the stocks tend to run up. So this one's right here, and it is for Alzheimer's disease. And the reason I'm looking into this one is because anything that is something that we essentially do not have a cure for yet, whenever there's big news on it, it likes to trend a lot heavier than something that we already have medication for. If you look at ABUS, who has Hep C medication, we already have Hep C medication. But if somebody tells you that they have positive data on Alzheimer's, now this is the type of stock that can just literally go parabolic. And you've seen it happen with some other ones that went from $4 to $100 in a day on some of those other ones. So those neurodegenerative diseases and those diseases that we have no cure for, those are the ones that really explode off those levels. So I'm curious to see, and this is phase 2 trial going to be initiated. So whatever this data comes out on the conference, July 26th through the 30th. So that approximately gives us, 1 to 2 weeks to essentially get a position on this, and that's going to give us time to be able to average in as low as we possibly can. It was at 638 when I posted it, LGVN. So let's look and see what it did today. Probably trended down with most of the market. So yeah, and you can see there's no volume on this. You can tell just by the chart that there's not a lot of volume in the stock at all. But, that is both favorable and non-favorable because, a short float and a stock that doesn't have a lot of volume, when they do get volume, that's why you see these big spikes like that, right? That just jump. This is 10, this is 10, this is 12.48. So if we can catch this down here near $5, they have positive data, this thing's likely going to double off one of those levels. So if not more than that, you can see volume, and they immediately doubled off those levels just with 1 day of volume. So right here, we're sitting with no volume at all. RSI, it looks like it just now wants to curve. The MACD hasn't started curling yet, but I think as we get closer to that date, this will trend into it, and then depending on the news, it'll either skyrocket or tank. So, you can do it 2 ways with that. We can come over here and average into a position, swing into the trial, and then sell, say, 75% of our position right here and hold 25% through. If the data is really good, then we at least have some that skyrockets with it. If the data is bad, then just set your stop loss at break even and give it some room to play. It's only 25% of your initial swing anyway. So that's typically the standard trade for a Dale trade anyway. The second one, I was looking at INFI. So you guys know that this one hit highs of $6 on its last news. This is also bouncing at its original break point here. There's also very little volume in the stock, but it has been holding this range each time that we do get to it, and we are starting to consolidate at this range. So not only are we at support and the original break point, this one also has on July 27th phase 2 update, okay? And this is for renal cancer. So the same thing. I'm looking to run something that's beaten down into some momentum going into a phase 2 trial that is going to be on July 27th. So looking at INFI on the chart, let me pull it up for you real quick. All right, we are at long-term support, as you can see. It briefly lost it, probably pre-market that day, but it held, and we're just right at it right now. This red line represents FDA day. I think bare minimum, as long as the market doesn't absolutely tank in the next week, that we can reach it's this last point right here at like 330. So, 250 to 330 swing, positive news, this thing can break up towards 371 or even higher. Bad news, we may trend back down, but it's definitely near the bottom, all right, as are many penny stocks right now. And the reason that is simply inflation fear. Whenever fear of inflation comes in, the first stocks to go are growth stocks and penny stocks because all of their revenue is based on future projections, all right? Even great stocks like Palantir is trading at 20x its 2023 revenue. You know what I mean? So, they take big hits. That's why Jumia and all these things have been falling lately. With Palantir being brought up, let me mention this. Just so you all know, you guys all know about the Jedi contract that Microsoft had with the U.S. government. Does anybody know about that? Well, the government had contracted Microsoft to run the Jedi. It was a 10-year project, $1 billion per year. They were going to basically upgrade a lot of things on each level. We can get into it a little deeper if you guys want to know about it. But Amazon sued against them and told them basically that the only reason that Microsoft was picked over Amazon was because Donald Trump was in office. So they came out today and said they're basically just disregarding that contract, and they're not going to choose Amazon or Microsoft because they don't want to be stuck in the middle of a legal battle between the two. So they're moving on from it, and now they're looking for a software company that has a big database, and it basically fits the criteria of what Palantir does perfectly. So if they announce that this company is involved in that contract in any way, I can promise you this thing will immediately go to $35 or $40 instantly. $10 billion into their pipeline, in addition to all the different contracts that they've already gotten with IBM and Amazon and everything else. Palantir's got a lot of upside, man. So I really do hope this thing drops a little bit for us. I would love to grab this thing back under $17 because I think the long-term projection for the stock, and you can see all the growth stocks essentially look the same right now, right? I mean, you could pull any one of them up, CleanSpark or any of them. They all look the same. They've all just been falling against value. So if you look at Apple, value against growth. Apple is considered a value stock for its longevity, and this one bounced right off its trend line and just rocketed, broke all-time high into its earnings. And this was predicted weeks ago. You guys all know I had this chart up right here at its trend line level. So congrats to Austin and many other people who ended up grabbing that thing. Some people definitely made a lot of money on it. Let me see what he cashed out at. Oh, that was the Disney. I definitely know that he was in a lot of Apple plays. There you go. There's quite a few 143, 145s, but these are probably ones he was just trimming on. And Atos he ended up getting on my call 2 weeks ago, I believe, as well. We do not have full access to all of our old watch lists or anything like that, but we do still have our Google Sheets. We're going to update it tonight. It will be available for everybody. We will have stop losses and everything implemented back into a lot of these things. But some of these long-term trades like LPTH, we're not really worried about this thing, man. We're trying to add all the way down to 195. We're not worried about this pullback. The whole market is pulled back like this in small caps. So, we're going to add all the way to its last low, and this thing ran all the way to 545 last time. And if you guys have looked into this company and seen what we've showed you on it, we posted a lot of it in the other room. But, there's been a lot of news coming out on this stock lately. Just last week, penny stock with triple-digit upside. They're showing you what field they're in, what they do, and how much they will be involved in future technology, as well as their year-over-year growth against their quarter three. And it is still a penny stock. So this one absolutely has massive upside. It's only fell with all small caps. So if you are in a small cap stock right now and it's down, don't feel like it's a bad pick or you picked bad or did anything wrong. Literally almost all small caps are down right now. There's some meme stocks that pump and dump, but the overall sector has been bearish for the last week to a week and a half. So things go in cycles, guys. As you can see, we had that big run up in last year. Then we had the big fall. Then we had another big run going into early 2021. This is for all penny stocks. You can pull up Atos, and it's going to be the same way. It had that big run going into early January, late January, early February, or let's say CIDM, something that we've bought for a long time. Big run up into early January, February, right? All penny stocks pretty much ran up in that time frame, and it did have news today on earnings. It did go up over 65% today. So 106 is essentially the floor on CIDM. You guys all know that I'm long-term bull on this stock. I couldn't even tell you how many sessions I've gone over to where I would tell you guys to add at these long-term support levels. I think long-term this is a $5 plus stock. So if you do ever see this near $1 to $1.06, definitely grab it. If you want to know more about the company, we definitely have YouTube videos on it to where we've gone over it plenty of times and showed you a lot of things on that, all right? So CIDM is right here. Yeah, and this one right here. This one has the CIDM in it. So there's been quite a few. This one right here was the killer. It had Snapchat, AMD, all those at $73, $72. That was the crusher video right there. We went back and recapped every one I went over on it, and they averaged like $30 to $70 gains on the equity itself on some of them. Boeing at 200. There were a ton of good ones on there. Some of them just take time, man. For those of you that are not used to my trading style, I'm not playing typically the momentum plays. I do some scalp trades and stuff when I have to, when the market is not forgiving. And when I see long-term levels like Alibaba, for those of you that were not in the room, we dominated on those two plays. I love these long-term levels like that, right? If I ever see anything like that, you guys all know that I'm buying into a long-term break like this. I mean, these are very easy to see and catch. Let me pull this up just a bit. You can see it right there, what I was looking at. You can see long-term downtrend. You can see support, original break, and consolidation. And then as soon as we turned and broke that, 600% right there on the option. Same thing with Baidu. Both of them just crushed. Then all Chinese stocks sold off. So, you got to get out and take profit when you can, man. You can't be greedy and hold on to a 600% gain back to zero. You got to sell those things. So, and it's hard to guess when things are going to tank like that. Sometimes you wake up and they're just down like that. So, the best thing that I can tell you guys, because I get this question a lot, you're like, when do I know when to sell? There are two ways. One way is you sell into the last set of resistance, which you can chart out and find, or you just trim along the way and hold a position and set your stop loss at break even or just under break even. But you never want to go down 50%, 60%, 70% on a stock ever, because especially if you're up on it. If you're up 30% on a stock, you should never go down 30% on an equity. At the very least, you should have that thing set at break even on there, okay? Looks like D-Man's writing me. I'll see what he's up to later. I shot him Verb too when I shot it to you guys, so hopefully he made a bunch of money on it. I don't know. I know that he bought a bunch of them, so I'll hit him up later and see what he's talking about. But regardless of what anyone says about the professor, he's actually a really nice guy. I like him a lot. He's a good friend of mine. So let's jump into a few other things real quick, and then we'll take some questions from you guys. And for those of you that were not on the channel earlier, You do see Zeus on here right now. His bot is in here already. He bought SoFi at a pretty good dip and averaged down on a pretty good dip today. It is a lotto play for him, but I seen it kind of getting some momentum into the second half of the day. It looked pretty strong. So his server is going to be coming over here completely. So this whole news bots, stock news, unusual volume, analyst ratings, insider trading, all these type of bots, flow algo, sweepers, golden sweeps, dark pool, equity prints, green equity, flow request. We are going to add a whole bot room to our Discord as well. That way you can search and look up anything you want at any level that you want. I'm also going to implement some charts that you can put in the bot room, and it'll instantly chart it for you. So we're going to have some pretty cool things. The purpose of this Discord is not greed. The purpose of this Discord is going to be making it a fantastic place for you guys to trade. All right. And that is our entire purpose. And that's the purpose that we've always had. And that's why we did not mesh well with our previous partners. Some people just wanted to make money, and some people wanted people to have a good user experience. And I don't mean for that to sound harsh. It's just the truth. So XPeng, looking on it daily, I know M did get a option on this. It did tank right at open. I was looking at it on the daily chart. If you look at it on the daily, it did get a rejection at this level. It does still look overall bearish. It did have one curl today. So just remember, a single candle, on a downtrend doesn't necessarily mean a reversal, right? Just as a single red day over here didn't mean that the uptrend was broken. So thing has a little time left on it. A lot of the Chinese stocks popped today. NIO, Tesla at open, but futures down. It kind of popped at open, and then it kind of traded sideways at the end of the day. Futures are already down. I can imagine this is going to be right in this range at open. I think by next week this thing is in the money for sure. So I really wouldn't worry about this one too much yet. You can't go day to day on options, guys, or else you miss out on some of the best things out there. Just to show you an example, for Apple, you look at it on the 1 hour, and this traded in a perfect channel all the way up, right? So here's the bottom of its channel, top of its channel. You can clearly see this channel, and here was its previous resistance. It broke right through that and held it, and then broke its secondary level, and then went to all-time high. So the only reason I'm showing you this is if you simply just played that, you would have missed out on this, right? Just because it had a little bit of a downtrend does not mean that it was not in an ascending channel. So, bearish days come, right? And you can clearly see from open, this is a full day, full after hours, a full day, a full after hours of going down. You would have had to hold this going down for 3 days in order to get immediately back over where you were, and then to trend down again. This would have took some steel to hold that thing all the way through, but had you, let me show you guys, because I brought this up when it was $123 on the head with 125 calls. We can even go to July 16th and show you. So they're worth 2,300 now. I want you guys to see what these were worth back in that time. They were at, let's look at the date on it real quick. Sorry about that. 123 was right in this range, so they were about $350 per option for the 125 calls, and now they're worth $2,490 at its high, and $23.48 now. So That's 8x on the option per. And if you look at some a little farther out of the money, you're going to see even bigger move than that, like the 146, because these things were only $10 back in that time. They went all the way to $411 a piece. I mean, that's just a huge, massive gain on there. So just showing you that. And let me show you one other thing, because I had somebody ask me about this earlier today. So let me show you Disney real quick, all right? Somebody was bearish on Disney, and they said that Disney looked bearish. But if you look at Disney, there's nothing bearish looking about this whatsoever, right? You can scale out. You see it from 169 when I was bringing it up. There's going to be a live podcast with me going over Disney with the stock card CEO. But if you look at this, it ran. This is its downtrend right here. It broke the downtrend, gapped up. All stocks have pullback, man. So all it did was pull back. Okay, found new support, gapped up again, gapped up, came back down to support right now, and then it's just chopping and consolidating in its new range. I'm willing to bet that this ends up just forming some sort of wedge pattern, and then we're going to break up or down. I mean, this is how stocks work. But it isn't bearish until you lose this support. Okay, this can still trend higher until this support is lost, because it has not shown that support is lost yet. If anything, it's just showing a consolidation period after a breakout. All right, just wanted to make note of the difference between the two. A lot of people will buy and say it's tanking because it had a down day. You got to look at the big picture on these things. It didn't tank, it just went to its support. All right, so just knowing that helps people sometimes in regards to panic selling some things for a loss. I think that we may have another shot on Charge Point coming soon. So you guys all know where we're looking for on this. We bought it over 3 times now. Let me get rid of this chart here. So Emily actually has called this out at $19 and $19.50 every single time. So she buys it right here. She bought it right here while it was wedging. She bought it right here at the falling wedge breakout. She bought it on both dips. So she's buying this support every single time. And if you look at every single time it's ever hit this level, this is at $19.50 to $32. The next one went to $33. The next one just hit $37. So, that's a big time move for an equity. You can sell covered calls up here, or you can just simply swing trade these things. This thing moves heavily, and there is a lot of infrastructure things going on behind the scenes right now that people are not even really aware of yet. But it did have, I believe, an offering, and it has fell from this resistance point. But this one really likes to fall hard and rip hard. So when the market's going well, this thing really likes to trend heavily. It just got rejected at that level. So we're at 23.50. It looks like it's gonna come back down at least to this $21 range. Maybe it doesn't make it all the way back to 1905 or 1950 because there are a lot of buyers in this range. So the new support may be a little higher than that. So we're gonna watch it for our first level right at this point right here. Okay, we're gonna watch it. We're gonna say likely right here. Okay, 22.73. You can see that it is oversold. It is oversold, and the RSI does look like it wants to curl from this range. So this one may be bottomed out right here. You do see that it has previous support at this level. There are a lot of buyers in this range, so we may get a 23.50 swing to at least this range right here, which we'll be watching, and this is going to be right at $28. No, it doesn't seem like a ton, but it's a $5 move. $5 move on an options chain moves pretty quickly. So definitely going to go into August on that and look for probably $27 or $28 calls. Once this comes down a little more, this will probably be about $45 or $50 by that time. But you can see right now, even something that is just 70 and 79 right now, you can look and see what this was worth recently on that last run. This thing was worth a lot more than that. So it's $77 now. It was just worth $900 a piece. So, I mean, think about that. I mean, that is a huge drop. Okay, so you buying this thing for $77, you buy 10 contracts for $700, it goes back to, $500 a piece. That's a lot of money, man. You're talking about $50,000 right there. So you just keep that one in mind when we do get that bounce on there. And once me and Emily do get this coffee shop completely open, we are going to be trading live a lot of the time. So it's going to make it a lot easier. I'm just going to be in here live watching setups, watching volume, and things like that. But as you guys know, my very first post this morning was basically just, let me see. No, that wasn't it. Maybe I just posted it in equity. I basically told everybody this morning to just be careful, that I expect some market pullback, and don't try to do too much right now. Now is not the time to try and get rich, all right? Whenever you try to make too many trades, and I'll tell you exactly what happens. People hit on like 10 trades, and they make a bunch of money. And they're like, man, if 5,000 made 30, then 30 can make $1 million. All these crazy ideas start going in their head. They just start loading. Then the market pulls on them. Now they're trapped. They either got to cut for a huge loss, or they got to bag hold forever. If they have options, they expire worthless. They all go in too heavy on the market after they get a taste of that blood. But right now is not time to go for blood. Right now is the time to kind of let the market settle, find clear direction, and us to patiently wait for some of these strong entries on some of these stocks that we know are going to rebound. All right, and I'm not a fortune teller. I can never pick a perfect bottom, but you guys that have been with me for a year, I get pretty damn close. So I am a dip buying machine. That's what I do. I buy bloody red. You guys see super green market days, you rarely see me make a call. You see very red market days, you see me make a lot of calls. So that last market dip on 514, me and Emily called 60 plays between 514 and 614. So, we were taking advantage of that big dip, and we had a phenomenal month. Trimmed a ton of our positions. Most notably Verb today. For those of you, I know about 10 people that held 25% of this all the way through. Thing hit $4 today. So it beat my expectation, I'll tell you that. I had you guys averaging in at the long-term support. I was only looking for $1.50 to $2. I did not, but I will say this. I did know that it had news, so it was posted many times. I could show you. I even sent it to D-Man himself right here. I showed him right here. Look at this. Verb at 1 year low on 419, 110. News within 30 days. Microsoft Outlook penny stock won't go under 91. Not to show you guys a personal conversation between me and D-Man, but I even told his ass down here at 91 cents to buy it, that this thing had news coming soon, and hopefully made some good money off that thing, because it absolutely crushed off that bottom. I know that Moreno and a few other guys definitely got into that thing, Hastrain, and a lot of the guys that really like to follow my style definitely kept a good percentage of those. So good job for holding on to that thing. It finally got the news, but those long-term levels are really strong. They've held up. So I'm still looking for the Inpixon. I'm 8 for 8 on this. I've never lost a trade on this stock, okay? Not one time have I ever lost a trade on this stock. I literally dip buy this thing every single time that it comes to this 92 cent to $1 level. Every single time. And every single time I get one pop to at least 137 to 140. This thing just pops off those levels every single time. The last time we just bought it right here, it jumped 137 and it only took a couple days. But don't discredit a 35% gain in equity. A lot of times people go for percent only, right? Like they get a $10 option, it goes to 0.30. They're like, man, I made 200%. But really it was $20, right? But if you get 35% and you drop 5,000, 10,000 on something that's safer like that, 35% on 10 or 20 grand. I know some people in here got some big time money. You're talking about, $3,500, $6,000 gains within 30 days, on a stock. If you invest your money into a bank, they're going to give you 8% return on a year. Who's not going to take 35%, in a 30-day time frame? So, Emily, you want to come talk for a sec? They want to hear from you too.
Sure, of course. Welcome, say hey.
Okay, so I'm going to give it up to Emily for a second, guys. Let her say what's up to all of you. We're so happy to have you guys here. Let her mess around a little bit. I'm going to finish my research for the night, but y'all have a great night, man. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, just as he said, thank you all so much for being here and coming over with us. I know it's been kind of a crazy week, but it seems like, all the drama and craziness has subsided, and we're all here ready to move on and here to make some money. So, like Dale was saying, we've got a lot of plays coming back down to those support levels we love to grab them at. I can't wait to get Charge Point back down there. Rocket was super low, like 1730 this morning, and I'm kicking myself for not picking up more or shouting it out to people. But when I see these at those levels, I love to pick up some shares on the side, especially to sell those covered calls. And if any of you do need help with selling covered calls or have questions about that, feel free to reach out to me anytime. It is so easy to do. You just kind of have to understand when to do it. So that's the key with selling covered calls, is making sure that, you're selling them at a time that it's going to be profitable for you, and use those to really hedge your positions when days are looking like today. We may see a little red coming up, some correction, which we've all kind of been expecting. I'll be looking to do a little more in the puts tomorrow and try and grab some hedges. I know, keep some money off the table and get some tight stop losses set up, and, just manage your portfolio the best you can for you. A lot of people ask me, where my stop losses are placed or when I place them. And I might be different than you. So I usually go slowly into trades. When I pick up options contracts, it's just a couple of them at a time. I'm not grabbing 10 or 20 like Kindred or somebody like that. So, my tolerance might be a little more than somebody else's that grabbed 10 of them. So just make sure that you're doing your own amount of risk management in your portfolio. I always tell people that when you go into a trade, have your exit strategy planned either way. How much you're willing to lose on a trade, or where your potential target will be and where you're going to start making those trims. And when you go green on a trade, set a stop loss even. That way, if it does happen to fall, you stop out, you can always buy back later. Always buy back later. Not an issue there. Take some profits off the table, jump back in when things fall. So, that's my advice for the night. I did have a few people mentioning something that I posted down here in the educational resources today. This is a Google Doc that I made a while back. I'll Austin is helping me add a few things to it right now, Austin Schaff. But for any of you that haven't looked through this, I highly recommend doing so and just taking it. It's maybe 20 minutes and you'll be to the end of it. But it's got some really great information in here. I spent a lot of time on this, put a lot of effort into it. It's got a lot of great things. I like showing people the Theta Curve here. It kind of is mind-blowing the first time you see it. When you see these last 30 days on your option expiry and what Theta is doing to it is kind of crazy. That's why sometimes you'll see me go out, a little longer on the calls just to avoid so much of that Theta burn. So there's a lot of useful info in here, risk management, all kinds of good stuff. So take a look if you get a chance. Let me know if you have any questions. Also, Dale and I are going to get that sheet updated by the end of the weekend. It's getting a little late over here, and we're going to get some research in, so I can't promise we'll be totally done tonight, but tomorrow's Friday, and we'll finally be able to dig into a lot of stuff this weekend. So we'll have all of that done this weekend for you. If you need access to it, you can request access. I'm not sure where Dale posted it, but I will post it again. And then you'll have to click on it, request access, and I'll go into my email, every couple hours and go ahead and open up that access to you guys. We're only doing that right now just to kind of keep it locked down. It was, something that was sought after once we left, and we don't feel it's fair for them to have that of hours after what they did to us, so that's kind of why we're keeping it to the emails. But it just takes a second to request it. It takes me 1 second to approve you, so I'll get that sent out there, and Dale and I are going to get a little more studying in so we can get some plays ready for the morning, and we'll see you guys at the Open. Thanks so much again for everything and all the support this week, guys. It means more than you know to Dale and I to see every single one of you in here. Like, we see the names come through in the welcome when some of you arrive, and we get so excited. We really do, just because we really care about this group and all of you guys, and we're just so happy that you're all here with us and that we're going to be able to make this room better than ever. Great things coming, and
major updates over the weekend also.
Yes, it's going to be amazing, guys.
When you see it Monday morning, it's going to be, I won't say completely different, but there's going to be some fantastic additions to this room. I can just tell you that.
As you can see, it's already, done a little neater. Dale and I like to have a little more fun with our emojis and our neon logo.
Oh, the Bizzle thing.
Yeah,
there.
we like our neon logo. We like bright colors and flashing, and we like to have a little fun. So hope you all appreciate it. But we're gonna get that research in, and we will see you guys at the Open. Thanks so much, and welcome to the new think tank.
All right, see you guys. Thank you. We're going to post some more plays and watch Market Open based off of the sentiment of the market.